Well, you know, I know that a lot of people that were calling people like me and others sheep because we, uh, was taking this thing serious. I know a lot of you guys. I don't see y'all guys laughing anymore in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of you guys going around now calling people, like I said, sheep and y'all believe everything I see on TV and all this type of shit. Y'all mighty quiet now. And most likely I surmise that it's probably because it's affecting you now. That's what it takes for some people. You know what I'm saying? It takes for some people for them to see shit literally for their own eyes. And that's unfortunate in a lot of the circumstances, including the idiot buffoonness in the White House. You know what I'm saying? Just another instance of why this guy should be fucking removed from office, on top of the other shit he's done and hasn't done, which are his duties, that he hasn't done while in the White House. All right? When this shit first hit the fan, all right, the experts were warning him, doctors were warning him, and he ignored their advice, their expert advice, their professional advice. And because it's him, and because he believes that he's a stable genius, he thinks that his gut, his opinion about shit he knows nothing about, trumps those of people who study these things for decades. Right? And because of his negligence, and because of his, standoffishness when it comes to this situation initially, that's why we so fucking behind. Okay? The first case of this thing was way back, like I think January the 20th, 21st, okay, when we were still in winter, the depths of winter. All right, it was slow. If he had mobilized then, early February, we would have a much better handle of this situation. All right, we would have pretty much done what Germany's done. Okay, if you look at Germany, it hit them hard. Okay, and they mobilized. If you look at their death rate, it's less than 1%. I think it's like 0.6%. Okay, and the number of cases that are hitting Germany have declined dramatically. China, okay, they took action. At one point, it was 100,000 people, active cases. They got on that shit, and now it's really under control. Okay, it's under control. There's still new cases, but last I saw, it was like 40 new cases in a country of 1.4 billion people. Okay, so they really got this situation under control. Okay, us, due to our arrogance, due to the superior, we just think that we're superior to everybody else in the fucking world. We think we're untouchable. We always fall into this fucking thing where we think that everything happens elsewhere other than us. You know what I'm saying? It's always this repeating pattern through history. We always have this shit with us. Oh, the war, that's over there in Germany. It's not going to affect us. Then Pearl Harbor happened. Oh, Vietnam, then we had to go over there and fight. You know what I'm saying? Terrorism, oh, that's the Middle East. That don't affect us. Then 9/11 happened. We always get caught slipping, man. We always fucking get caught slipping, no matter what the situation is. And now here we are, 3,000 people dead for no fucking reason. 3,000 people. Okay? And now they're being realistic. Now they're saying, if we're lucky, because we haven't reached the peak at all. We're not even close to the peak. The peak is going to be sometime in May, maybe, perhaps. They're saying if we're lucky, maybe the death toll is going to be 100,000 to 200,000 people. Lucky. Okay? That will be successful. Now keep in mind, right? 100 years ago, during the swan flu, the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, 1919, that killed 675,000 Americans. So they said if we're lucky, 100,000, 200,000 possibly lose their lives. Could be as high 1 to 2 million. So when you think about it, 2% death rate. How many people is that infected? What would that be? 20 million? 40 million? On the high end, 100 million? 200 million infected? Because most people don't die from this. Let's be honest. Most people don't die from this. Most people don't even require hospitalization. It's people who are older and have other ailments that are most risk for this. So most people don't pass from this. But how many people are going to be affected by this? That's the thing. We got to stop this shit, man. We got to stop thinking that we have this unique exceptionalism when it comes to us. Like, well, that happened over in Afghanistan, or that happened over, in Vietnam, or that happened over in, Iran. That shit don't happen here. Man, get out of here, man. I don't know. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't put it all on the idiot because a lot of people out there that just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what. Let me go to this too for a second while I'm thinking about it. While I got time. What the fuck is wrong with this fucking dude? You got this crisis going on, right? All right, you got this crisis going on. There have been 160,000 confirmed cases. Last I checked, 160,000 confirmed cases and rising. And the number of actual people who are infected are probably it's, I don't even know, probably like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. I don't know. You got this ongoing crisis unfolding. And this motherfucker's bragging about press conference ratings. What the fuck is up with him in ratings? Who gives a fuck? Who cares about your fucking ratings? What the fuck is wrong with you? I want to say this to this dude's face so bad. What the fuck is wrong with you? The Democrats and the liberals are trying to prevent you from getting high ratings. What the fuck? Motherfucker, do you understand how delusional you fucking sound? Are you sane, nigga? My God. What the fuck is wrong with this dude, man? Hey, yo, man. I'm starting to think with Trump. It may not be an issue with his cognitive ability. Like with Biden, people worry about dementia and shit like that. Yeah, I think age caught up with Joe Biden. With Trump, I'm starting to think what it might be, honestly, just from viewing his behavior. I think the motherfucker's on drugs. Seriously. I think Trump's on drugs, man. I think he's hooked on something. He don't sound right. He don't sound right when he's talking. He fucking, he can't stay on code. Like when he's talking about shit, he rambles about nonsense. He kind of sounds like fucking, if y'all watch The Sopranos, man, he sounds sometimes like Christopher. Whenever he's high and shit, like Christopher would just ramble about shit. And Adriana, this thing, it's just crazy, I mean, it's so much stress, and I don't know. You deal with all of this stuff, and Tony, and my mom, and sometimes you gotta look at how things work, and you got the cars, and can cars really fly? I mean, I don't know. But then when sometimes you turn the ignition, it seems like they're flying. But cars, are you high? No. What do you mean, huh? I mean, you're just talking nonsense, man. What the fuck is you talking about? But anyway, I hope that you all stay safe, stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Here in Virginia, where I live at, we just crossed 1,000 confirmed cases, but the number of people actually got it is much higher than that. And it's starting to touch home where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Not people in my home, but what I mean by that is where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm starting to hear instances where people that I know, people on their job has gotten it. Um, you know, and the governor just um, issued a mandatory stay-at-home curfew until June the 30th, I think. So that just lets you know how this is a totally different situation than what we're used to. You know what I'm saying? We've had some health crises in the past. H1N1 flu virus. That was a different strain, but this is different. This is a totally different situation. This is a very contagious, and it's much more deadly than the normal flu. I mean, yeah, it still has like a, 2% don't jump out at you, but when you look at the sheer number of people that can get affected, that are probably going to get infected by it, that can be a pretty high mortality toll when everything's said and done. But it just seems like, I'm saying, I've never seen anything that has altered our normal everyday life like this in my lifetime. Never. I've never seen anything alter our lives like this. If there was anything that I ever feared growing up that could alter our lives in a tremendous sense, and if you grew up in the era that I grew up in, it would make sense, because that's when the Soviet Union was still in existence. The thing that we were always scared of was a nuclear war and trying to survive something like that. But something dealing with a virus, it has happened in the past, but that's not something that's up in your radar. But I have heard experts say that if there was one thing that could really alter our society, would be a new virulent bug, all right? A new virus introduced into our society. And this might be the thing that alters our world, our collective worlds, for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Just like it did for those people 100 years before that. I'm going to tell you one thing, though. I'm going to tell you one thing about that generation, all right, that went through that shit. That went through, the smallpox, and went through the early parts of the 20th century. You had all that famine, and then World War I, and the, malaria, and then that, the flu pandemic that killed 50 million people, 100 million people worldwide. I tell you one thing, when the good times came, the motherfuckers partied. They fucking, the 20s, when the economy was roaring and shit, and the times was good, the motherfuckers fucked. They fucking partied. They got high. You know what I'm saying? They did the boogie woggy woo, whatever the fuck that shit was they did back then, the Charleston. They did all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been through the bad times, and they said, well, we've been through that, we deserve some good times. And then the Great Depression hit, and fucked up times came again. So all I'm saying is just, you know what I'm saying? This is just a time when shit's tough, but we Americans, we're going to get through this shit. And, you know what I'm saying? That's just pretty much how I look at it, man. But tell me what you guys think.